Tonight for dinner, we are having Thai chicken soup. I love this. It's wonderful, and it begins with a can of coconut milk. Make sure you get unsweetened coconut milk. We don't want all that extra sugar, and shake, 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 shake it up. You want the heavy cream on top to come back down into the milk. Get a can opener, open it up, throw it in the pot. When you take the lid off, you're going to notice there's a thick layer of that cream. That's why we were shaking so vigorously, to try to reincorporate that. Inevitably, not all of it will, and that's okay. Just scrape it back off into the rest of the coconut milk and keep going. Next comes the star of the show. Oof, it smells so good. Red curry paste. You want to get a little jar of it, get a little spoon, get a little whisk, whatever you've got, and add it all to the coconut milk. Now you're going to add 2 cups of water, but wait, before you go pouring it directly into the pot, pour some into that jar because there's still a lot of flavor still in there. Put the lid on, shake it up, 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 and pour that into the pot first. Notice you'll have a completely clean, empty jar now. We're not wasting any of that awesome goodness. Then pour the rest of your water in, and time to keep going. Now for one of my favorite staples, better than bouillon. This stuff is awesome. You mix it up with water, it comes in a paste, it keeps in your fridge, and you get so many more cups out of it than you would just buying a box of chicken broth. This stuff is wonderful, and it comes in so many different flavors. Scoop out about a teaspoon per cup, mix it up, pour it in. Great flavor. So regardless if you're doing better than bouillon or boxed chicken broth, you're going to need 3 cups. Our final flavor ingredient is cilantro. Now, you could take just half a bunch of cilantro and throw it in the pot, but I don't like that many leaves in every bite, so I tie mine up with string. Get about 4, maybe 5 inches. Get your bunch of cilantro, shake off the water a little bit. Wow, this one is really long, so I'm going to fold it in half just to make sure it really isn't getting caught on anything as that bubbles around. Lay your string out in a line, put your cilantro in it, and then tie just a knot, just a regular old knot. If you've got extra string on the end too, you can cut it off and throw that whole thing in the pot. Wonderful without having tons of leaves and stems getting in every single bite. Finally, it's chicken time in our chicken soup. Notice these are bone-in breasts. Yes, you want the bone because as contradictory as it might sound, if you just put straight breasts in this pot, they will dry out and get tough, even though they're submerged in liquid. So get the breasts, just put them in a pot, turn the heat on to medium-high until it starts to boil, then turn it down to low, put a lid on, let it simmer. While our chicken is simmering away for about 15 minutes, it's time to prep our vegetables. We're going to have 1 whole yellow onion, 1 whole red bell pepper, 1 small butternut squash, and about 5 to 7 Yukon Gold potatoes. If you've never worked with a butternut squash before, I find it easiest to cut them into 2 halves. The end with the seeds, you treat like a pumpkin. Get a strong spoon, scrape out the seeds and the threads, and then peel it, chunk it up, just like you did the other end. Finally, we do our potatoes. We like ours peels. If you don't, leave the peel on, but you're going to chunk them up into similar sizes like you did the butternut squash. Don't forget, your chicken is only supposed to be simmering for 15 minutes. So as soon as that timer goes off, stop what you're doing with the veggies, get your tongs, and dish those chicken breasts out of that wonderful, yummy, yummy broth. Bring that wonderful broth back up to a bubble and then pour all the veggies in. Give it a little stir and let them cook. While they're cooking, you are going to pull the chicken meat off of the bone. If you have never deboned chicken before, don't be nervous. This is actually really easy. It just takes a little patience. First thing you're going to want to do is pull off that skin. It's not going to be crispy, so it's not going to taste very good. And whoo, it's still very warm. Make sure that you've got a bowl for the chicken meat and a bowl for discards. That will make everything easier. So first, get all of that skin off. And then on the thickest part of the breast, you can use a fork or you can use your fingers, but whoo, it's still kind of warm. Pull it off in big chunks. This chicken is still warm enough that I'm going to go get a fork, and all you're going to do is keep pulling the meat off. You're going to have to be patient. Hold onto the bone and pull it off with the fork. Especially when pulling chunks off the back, you always want to check for either a tendon or a little bone. Make sure you pull those off because that would be very unpleasant to bite down on. Give one more quick look over. Oh, see, there's some hiding right back there, and that's it. When you've cutting up these chicken chunks into smaller pieces, think about how you want to take that bite of soup. It all depends on your preference. When I take a scoop of soup, I like to have maybe 1 or 2 pieces of chicken that fit on the spoon. So I'm going to cut up my pieces of chicken to be slightly smaller than the pieces of potato and butternut squash. That way I get a nice variety on my spoon. If you want them smaller, you should do that. If you like them bigger, then by all means do that. Or even if you want to shred it, you can do that. This is your chicken soup. You're the boss. Once all your chicken is chunked, pour any leftover juices back into the pot, and you want to make sure that your vegetables are done before you add your chicken back in. The best way to do that is to get some chunks on your spoon, biggish chunks, take a fork or a knife and see if you can pierce all the way through them. If the knife easily slides all the way through the vegetable, it is go time. Oh, and that's beautiful. Look how wonderfully soft that is. Oh, delicious. I love butternut squash. So it's time to put our chicken back in. Now gently mix everything back up together. If you smush too hard, you will break apart that squash and vegetables. So gently combine it all back together. And it's dinner time. In our family, we love to eat this with white rice. That rice soaks up that broth and just, makes it perfect and rich and delicious. If you want to kick it up again, a little sriracha on the rice. As always, you can find this full recipe on my blog, lifeinreallife.net, and enjoy.